Top Gear is undoubtedly one of the most entertaining shows to ever air on television, but all this entertainment comes with a cost. In recent news, Top Gear host Freddie Flintoff had to be airlifted to the hospital after an on-set crash. We'll talk all about that and also look at some of the worst injuries suffered while filming the show. Make sure to stick around until the end. First up, let's look at the accident. The horrific accident took place on the 12th of December while filming the new season of the hit BBC series. Freddie Flintoff, the former England cricket captain, was hosting the show. All was fine until the incident took place while filming in Dunsfold Park Aerodrome, Surrey. So how did it all happen? Well, we'll tell you. It all happened while cameras were rolling to get his opinion on some specific car for the show's review segment. He was behind the wheel when suddenly there was a high-speed crash. The accident was horrifying, but thankfully, people who were present there confirmed that he didn't suffer any life-threatening injuries. Professionals on the site were quick to help the father of 4 right after the accident happened. We're glad there were medical professionals on site, otherwise God knows what could have happened. It's very scary to experience something like that, and we can't imagine how absolutely terrifying it must have been for Flintoff to go through that. The 45-year-old host had to be taken to the hospital by an air ambulance, so the accident wasn't a minor one. We're just glad his life isn't in danger. He has been taken to hospital for further treatment, and we will confirm more details in due course, a BBC spokesperson told the public the day of the accident. An unnamed source added some details about how the accident went down, saying he was driving on the track as normal. He wasn't going at high speeds. They further added that it was an accident that could have happened to absolutely anyone. The source then continued by saying that all the standard health and safety measures for filming were in place as well. Filming has been postponed for the show until Flintoff recovers from the injuries. We certainly hope that he recovers and is back on his feet soon. Now let's look at some of the worst injuries suffered during the filming of Top Gear. Up next at number 6, the time when Jeremy Clarkson broke his thumb. This accident is honestly bittersweet once you know the whole story behind it. It's from back when Top Gear had their first ever cheap car challenge. You guys remember that, right? Jeremy went all out in this challenge and was doing pretty great. He chose to go with a Volvo 760 GLE as his car for the challenge. The car is, well, an interesting choice. That's what the viewers thought, but leave it up to Jeremy to always surprise us. The cast was later assigned a braking challenge. Now this was tricky. Jeremy ended up crashing his car straight into a brick wall, but don't worry, this was all intentional. The part that was not intentional was the injuries he got as a result of the crash. Obviously, there were going to be damages when a car was slammed right through a brick wall. He ended up breaking his thumb during the process, but that isn't where it ends. He also ended up losing 5 points in the overall challenge because of this injury. Now that truly sucks. Fortunately, all wasn't lost just yet. Jeremy still ended up winning the challenge. How? Well, as we said, Jeremy always has a way of surprising us, and he did just that. He left us gagged when he revealed that the car only cost him a total of £1. This information alone was enough to make him win the challenge. So although he walked away with a broken thumb, he walked away a winner. Not to mention, at number 5, Jeremy gets paintballed. We all love art, and most of you probably love creating art too. When you personalize something you love, it becomes even closer to your heart than it was before. This was the idea in Jeremy's mind that led him to a really painful accident. We're sure it'll make you not only feel bad for him, but also feel his pain. Jeremy asked his friend and Formula 1 driver David Coulthard to help him create a painting using a Formula 1 car and paintballs. If you've ever gone paintballing, you know just how hard they hit and how painful they can be if you're not wearing the right protective gear. The idea was to hold a canvas behind the exhaust pipe of the car, which had some paintballs placed in it. When the car would go off, the paintballs would shoot out onto the canvas, creating a custom, unique painting. Sounds pretty cool, right? Jeremy stood behind the exhaust pipe, holding a large canvas in his hands, ready to create a masterpiece. When the car started, everything went according to plan. The paintballs shot out of the pipe, bursting colors on the canvas. Everything was going pretty good until a paintball shot right through the canvas, hitting Jeremy in the crotch with full force. Ouch. Now that's one thing all guys would agree on. This hurts probably the worst. Even talking about it is painful, to be honest. Coming up next at number 4, we have James May's head cracking open. This one might be one of the most gruesome ones on the list, so if you get drowsy at the mention of serious injuries, you've been warned. A skull cracking open, now that's some serious stuff. Your brain could get seriously damaged from such an injury, not to mention how excruciatingly painful it is for the person. Unfortunately, James May's head was cracked open on the show when he got in between a car and a tow cable. Now, this is always a bad idea. For everyone who's watching, never do this, because when the cable is stretched, the object you're towing will remove everything from its path with a great force. And well, if you're one of the things in its path, better start praying. May got caught up in between the tow cable and the car, and was forced to the ground before the crew could shout and stop the towing. The result? May's head cracked right open. He had to be rushed to the hospital to be treated. Fortunately, he didn't sustain any life-threatening injuries or any injuries that would be a problem in the long run. In fact, he was discharged pretty soon after he was admitted. Next up, at number 3, the time when Hammond crashed a jet-powered drag car. Okay, so you probably already know about this one. It's undoubtedly one of the most famous accidents from the show. Clips of the accident went viral back when it happened, and everyone was talking about just how scary it was. Fortunately, Richard Hammond lived through the horrific accident to tell the tale. Few people are lucky enough to survive such an incident, and we're glad he did. This doesn't mean he didn't suffer a lot as a result. He was in a coma for quite a while and was absent from the show during this time, obviously. He didn't get any long-lasting injuries, thankfully, but one thing did change about him. He said the only change he felt in him after the accident was that now he likes to eat celery. How did the accident happen exactly? Well, Hammond piloted the jet-powered vampire drag car. It went off the road after the front tire blew, flipping over and over again at a speed higher than 314 miles per hour. Could you imagine how scary that must have been for Hammond? You can easily find the video clip of the accident if you want to watch an insanely scary accident go down. Following up at number 2, we have Jeremy taking a dive off of his Vespa. Yet another time, Jeremy was in a bad accident. It feels like bad times just follow him around on set, waiting to shine right when he's having a good time. Can you relate to that? Tell us if you do down in the comment section. Falling down on a road from a bike is pretty painful. If you've ever fallen on the road, you're probably aware of just how bad a road rash hurts. Not to mention, getting injured on a road invites all kinds of dangerous bacteria into your blood. Clarkson was having a pretty good time biking around the streets of Vietnam on his Vespa. He wasn't even going at a very high speed, but unfortunately he fell right off his bike and suffered some pretty bad injuries. He suffered a bad road rash, a pair of broken ribs, and a pretty bad pain in his foot. But none of this could even come close to hurting him as much as the accident ruining his suit did. Oh, his precious suit, you will be missed. Finally, coming up at number 1 on our list, let's look at Jeremy Clarkson inhales a bee up his nostril. God, if you're terrified of bees, this is definitely one of your worst nightmares. Getting a bee sting, even when you're not absolutely terrified of them, is painful. But could you imagine getting stung by a bee inside your nose? Clarkson was driving the Porsche 911 Turbo and having the best time of his life. But apparently, this bee decided to put an end to his good time when it flew right into his nostril. Even talking about it makes us feel so weirded out. We're all for saving bees, but not when they go up our nostrils. That's one place they absolutely shouldn't be. It happened during the filming of Series 15 of the show. He was driving at a high speed with the top down, which made it easier for the bee to get inside his nostril. But hey, at least we got one of the best and undoubtedly funniest lines from the show. "The thing in my nose has a face," he screamed. Did that make you giggle? We think Jeremy will be cool with us laughing at his expense. That's all we have time for in today's video. Which one of these accidents made you gasp the most? Let us know down in the comments section. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more videos. With all that said, as always, we'll see you in our next video. Bye now.